cross off your name and just.
30 days till hunt.
30 days from today? This evening?
From tonight.
Yeah. It just makes me feel like unprepared. Somewhere in a box is all of our Hanukkah stuff. I guess we should start looking for it for my family. When we build our new place, it's going to be, well, the main door is going to be behind everyone. It'll be in front of me, but.
Will the windows behind the schema be western facing? Like are we facing?
I don't know which way is up and which way is down in Baton Rouge. So
The
the windows are going to be, so if you know which, like the building is being built at the end of the.
Is it gonna face the bayou, right, where the playground is?
Yes, it's gonna face where the playground, like, it's gonna face, like if the playground was here, it's facing there, if it was the did. I translated a Talmud parody, and then like did my research on texts that like the rabbis were trying to be funny in. Yeah. And the rabbis thought that they were funny. There are some interesting texts, definitely. I don't think I would be able to entertain people standing up and telling jokes. I'm the parent of a 5-year-old, right? I read joke books that are like, what does one plate say to the other? Or like, dinner's on you, or whatever the jokes are that she reads in her book. I actually think right now, she likes the joke books, but none of the jokes are like, why was the strawberry crying? Because its parents were stuck in jam. Right? Those are the books that like 5-year-olds read about jokes.
You know how to stop the knock-knock?
How? Stop answering?
No. Say, come on in, boys.
But she makes them up. Like she'll say knock knock, we'll say who's there, and she just says something, and then we're like, whatever she says who, and then she just falls on the floor laughing. And we're just like, okay.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. When you're 5, turning 6, it is how it works. Sorry? Start somewhere. Yeah. Probably not those knock knock jokes though. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So great that we are able to join together. You know, I'm a northerner, so this is the beginning of feeling a little cold, but I'm glad people came to join me because I know the rest of you probably had to find your winter boots and hats and gloves and coats and everything today. I will be completely honest. I am wearing long sleeves, but I did not wear a coat here. But I'm sure that will slip away pretty quickly. It does feel cold, I will say. So I'm so glad we were able to come together, even though there is a chill in the air. I started my Friday morning like I do most Friday mornings in this space with our Rainer Center preschool kids, sitting here talking about Shabbat and beginning Shabbat with the same song we're going to begin it with now, a little bit slower, probably a little less enthusiastic in the hey part, but let us together celebrate Shabbat. I know you've known this song forever, and if you haven't, it's very, very easy and you will be able to quickly catch on. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Let us enter Shabbat together by lighting our Shabbat candles. I'm going to invite you now to pull out one of the thick blue books from the pew in front of you or behind you and open it to page 120. Where you will find our blessing for lighting Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Gonna invite you to start making your way back to your seats. It is so great that we're able to talk with each other and build community. I invite you now to turn to page 125 in our prayer books. And let us read together. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Shabbat is this gift that we're given that reminds us that sometimes in our life, we need a little help to hit that pause button. During the week, we go from place to place. We do whatever work needs to be done. And sometimes we need a little reminder that it's okay to stop. That sometimes we just need to breathe and pause and revel in the moment. So I invite us all, take a deep breath, reminding us to pause now. As we inhale, let us hold something wonderful from this past week with us. And as we exhale, let us push aside any burden that is currently weighing on our shoulders and allow this breath of exhaled air to hit that pause button for us. As we enter Shabbat, our tradition teaches us that just like we welcome each other, we welcome this metaphorical Shabbat presence, sometimes called the Sabbath bride, into our community. There is a story that says that communities used to run out of their synagogue as the sun was setting, face the sun, and say, Lacha Dodi in that moment. So no, don't worry, I will not make us run outside to our dark, cold evening we are having. But let us think of that sun setting and the warmth the sun has on our face as we welcome the Sabbath bride to our community. I invite you to turn to pages 138 and 139. We will sing together in Hebrew verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 with the chorus in between. And when we get to that 9th verse, I invite you, if you wish, to rise, to face the door in which you entered in order to greet that Sabbath presence, that Sabbath bride to our community, just like you greet a friend or a loved one at the door of your house. Let us join together in Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el ha-meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'Shem u'tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha Merosh Kadosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh B'maksheva Techila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Hitoreri Kiva Ore Kumi Ori Uri Shir Daberi Kevod Adonai Alaich Nigla Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. I invite you to rise and face the door if you wish. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvesohola toch emunei am segula boi chala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. I invite you to take your seats. Let us continue the theme of welcoming as we welcome the ministering angels with the words of Shalom Aleichem, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seitchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn the page 144. Yitgadal v'kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yotev yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kariv ve'imeru Yahei Shmei Rabba Mivorach, Le'olam Olam Me'olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shomei dekudasha le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru. As we turn the page to page 146, I invite you to please rise. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai, hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, hamevorach, hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Let us read together at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 151, together, the prayer that begins in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. As we turn the page and find the words of Shema, I invite you to rise if you wish. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. I invite you to be seated. We continue chanting together on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol lavavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'leftecha v'derech, uv'shokpecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kidoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Let us read together on page 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. The facing page, page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei fele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei fele. Let us read together on page 161 at the top. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. As we enter Shabbat tonight, one of the things I am thinking about is how I love this new routine that my family has created for Shabbat. But then there are these things that come up in our life that always change our routine. So I will say, being a kindergartner in Baton Rouge, you have the largest social schedule that I've ever experienced. So of course, there was a birthday party at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So how does a rabbi married to a rabbi help their kindergarten daughter go to a birthday party when both rabbis are also leading Shabbat services at two different places? But there are ways to figure it out, and that is what we learned this afternoon. So of course I came here, and Josh, my husband, took Eliana to this birthday party for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then drove her here, dropped her off here. Yes, she is playing over in the Rayner Center, so you all don't have to see her do whatever she likes to do during services in this moment. And you can say hi to her later. I promise she will come in for Kiddush and Motzi at the end, because everybody loves a little challah, right? And then he went on to Mandeville to lead later in the evening 7:30 services. But what it made me realize is that as modern day Jewish people, we figure out how to make Shabbat work for us. And for us, it was a little bit of birthday party and a little bit of Shabbat. And I'm sure you too have experienced moments where you have to decide whether you do whatever is important to you for Shabbat, or you incorporate whatever is important to you for Shabbat into something else, because that is possible too. So I'd love for us to pause for a moment and think about, what is it that's important to us as modern day people for Shabbat? What is it about Shabbat that allows you to have your personal connection to this 24-hour period? Would anybody like to share what they're thinking about? nice, a break from work.
We're congregating.
Yeah, being with people.
That's changed in 100 years. Well,
Yeah.
she can testify about that.
We study Torah on Saturday morning.
Yes, having the ability to study. Thank you. Yeah, Nini.
Coming here tonight, because most Friday nights I'm not here, but this begins a Shabbat for me when I so often don't really pay enough attention.
Nice. Anybody else? I think one of the things for me is figuring out how to make it a little bit different. Even if that different for you isn't being able to come here. Even if that different is for some people in this room possibly having to still work. But whatever it is, to make something about it different. And I think as modern day people, what we need to remember is, yes, Shabbat starts Friday evening and goes to Saturday evening. But as long as we could carve out a moment to make it different, a moment to make it special. And whether that is in this space or whether that is in another space, for me, I think that's what is important about Shabbat. Being able to make something special about the 24-hour period between Friday evening and Saturday evening. And our tradition teaches us that we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to guard it and keep it because it is up to us to pass it down from generation to generation. And Ralph, yes, jokes about 100 years, but it is 2,000 years, right? From generation to generation about being able to gather and celebrate Shabbat. So let us remember those words as we sing together Vishamru on page 162 at the top. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. As we turn the page to page 164, we enter our central prayers of our evening service, our Amidah. We will join together chanting the words on the right-hand side of the page. I invite you to chant along with us in Hebrew, to read the prayers on your own in English as we chant, or just get lost in both the words and the moment. Page 164, I invite you to rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagitech ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, I invite you now to take a moment of silent personal prayer. Either the words you find in the prayer book until page 180, or the words you find in your own hearts on this Shabbat evening, and I invite you to be seated whenever you wish. Oh, say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. As we pray for shalom, as we pray for peace, many of us in this space might be feeling that sense of peace. But we know there are those, both amongst us and in our friends and family and community, near and far, who are having trouble finding their peace. And possibly it's because they suffer illness. Illness of body, illness of spirit, or illness of mind. So we turn our prayers now to those in need of healing. Our Mishaberach prayer of healing can be found in our prayer books on page 371. This evening, as a community, we think of the following people in need of healing: Joy Lewis, Lucy Silva, Minna Bat Yentel, Mordechai Ben Dina, Rowan Hausman, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Friedel Tamara bat Liba Bela, Menucha Pesa bat Cherny U Moshe, Gretchen Haynes, Steve Sinkoff, Linda Weinstein, Ruby Smolinski, Lee Kaplan, Jennifer Casson, Vicky Furstel, and Storm Matthews. If there are others you are thinking of in need of healing, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours.
Carol Morris. Sarah Cameron.
For all those names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, together we pray for all in need of healing. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu Mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Tonight, I am thinking about a story I first heard in an episode from the first season of This Is Us. An older, dying character told this story to a younger character when she asked him what it felt like to know he was dying. The story is about a man on the beach. He once went down to the shore at the break of dawn, carrying an empty sack over his shoulder. For hours, he picked through what had washed up onto the beach, filling his sack with pretty seashells and anything else of value he could find. The sun beat down on him harshly, but he continued to work. By early afternoon, his sack was full. He was thoroughly exhausted, but satisfied. As he set off for home, he met another man just arriving to the beach, carrying an empty sack. The newcomer looked at the first man and sneered. "Look at you," he said. "Your face is red, your hair is matted, your clothes are soaked with sweat. You are bent over like an old man. And look at me, I am fresh as a cucumber. Wouldn't you love to exchange places with me?" "Are you kidding?" the first beachcomer replied. "Didn't you notice the full sack on my shoulder? If I changed places with you, I would have to start all over again, filling that empty sack of yours. How would I be better off?" We say that age is just a number, but is it? At the beginning of our Torah, people seem to live forever. Noah is, according to the Torah, 600 years old when he leaves the ark, and he then goes on to live to 950 years of age. Noah's grandfather lives for 969 years. In this week's Torah portion, we learn that Sarah lived for 127 years. In relation to Noah and his grandfather, she is so young. From this point onward, though, after Genesis, the longest life is that of Moses. How many years? 120 years old. And this is the origin of the Jewish greeting of good wishes, Ad Mea Ve'esrim, may you live to 120, that we say on one's birthday. Today, we know that our lifespan is not as long as our biblical counterparts. But no matter how long or how short our lives are, we all have moments that shake us to our core. Although the Torah portion opens telling us Sarah died, it does not tell us how or why. Midrash explains that she died not from a physical cause, but from that of extreme grief that she suffered as a result of the binding of Isaac. The Midrash teaches that from the moment that Abraham packed up the donkey with firewood, his knife, and a fire lantern, and took Isaac off to sacrifice him, we do not hear Sarah mentioned again. She never knew that the sacrifice had not happened, and that Isaac returned unharmed. As Isaac's mother, the Midrash says, she wallowed in her grief. Not having the strength to live through this mental anguish, Sarah died. Awareness of one's mental health permeates this week's Torah portion. When Abraham's servant returns with Isaac's future wife, Rebekah, it is taught that Isaac is found strolling in a field trying to seek peace. When he and Rebekah come together as husband and wife, we are told that Isaac finally found comfort from the death of his mother. Mental health seems to be as important as physical health in this section of Torah. It is shocking to me that mental health is so prevalent in our ancient text, yet it is still a hidden illness in today's world. People are more comfortable talking about their physical ailments than what is going on in their heads. Each week, we read a list of people who need healing, our Mishaberach list. It is full of people who have suffered heart attacks, car accidents, have cancer, are hospitalized, and for other reasons. But rarely does one call us to say, please pray for my friend, mother, brother, sister, child who is suffering from anxiety, postpartum depression, having a manic episode. Why is this? Why is it so easy to pray for and reach out to those who suffer physical ailments, but shameful to ask for help so others can reach out to us when our own mental health is at stake? Even the Talmud, written many years ago, discusses depression and how best to offer support. In a section called Brachot, we read the story of Rabbi Eliezer, who is ill, suffering from deep despair. When his friend Rabbi Yochanan visits him, he finds Eliezer alone in a darkened room, facing the wall. He cannot bear to see the light. Even the light from Yochanan's arm is too bright for his eyes and his soul. When Yochanan sees that his friend is crying, he asks, "Why are you crying?" Then Elazar finally answers, "I weep because all light fades into darkness, because all beauty eventually rots." Yochanan, sitting beside his friend, replies, "Yes, ultimately everything does die, so perhaps you have reason to weep." Then Yochanan sat down with his friend and wept alongside him. After a while of just sitting together, Yochanan asked, "Does darkness comfort you? Do you want these sufferings?" "No," Eliezer responded. So Yochanan says, "Then give me your hand." and he lifts Rabbi Eliezer up from his bed and out of his darkened room. Sometimes the best way to help people who suffer is to just be present with them and accompany them in their darkness, and eventually help them find the light. In today's world, we can help by acknowledging that our mental health is as important as our physical health. Many, in the past few years, because of the change brought about by living during a global pandemic, have experienced shifts in their mental health. Yet, congregations across the country, our MiShaBerach lists have not changed. According to an article published a year ago in the Washington Post, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention added mood disorders to the list of conditions that put people at high risk for severe COVID-19. The mind-body connection, they say, is long-settled research. This article went on to talk about how the CDC recently added mental health conditions to a long list of mostly physical conditions. It also shared the following statistics. In 2019, more than 19 million people, nearly 8% of adults in the United States, had at least one episode of depression, and at least half that number were diagnosed. These numbers are still growing. We live in a difficult world, and if we are unable to talk about mental health and reach out to those in need, I believe it will continue on an exponential path. The CDC took the first step by equating mental and physical illness and their connection to COVID-19. Now we must continue down the same path to help end the stigma and open up doors to allow us to more easily talk about the subject. Many suffer without ever sharing with their friends and family. Our community is no exception to this rule. We have members who suffer in silence. It is our job, though, to act like Rabbi Yochanan and be there for each other and offer to lift each other up out of any type of darkness, physical or mental. As we build this unified congregation, building a community where we are there for each other during any type of ailment is just as important as figuring out the flow of services or how much Hebrew or English we include. We need to let people know we see their struggle. We need to validate that their pain is real and encourage people to realize that their mental illness belongs on our MiShaBerach lists. When we need companions, may we be comfortable reaching out for help. When we are called upon, may we be able to sit, even if it is just in silence, with our friends. When we struggle, may we eventually find the light. May each year of our life bring us moments that make us proud to fill our sack, even if we look red with matted hair, sweating, and bent over with age. Shabbat Shalom. We now return to our prayer book. To conclude our service, I invite you to turn to page 586. And does anybody want to volunteer to help open our ark this evening? Come on up, both of you. Thank you, thank you. I'll even offer you a lollipop afterwards if you'd like. Well, you know, I didn't want you to volunteer for the lollipop, right? As they open our ark, we are on page 586 at the bottom, and I invite you to please rise. So you gotta pull this side first. Ease of use, that's what I want for the next one. Yeah. Thank you both. And if you want to follow along, I think there are cards in there you may take if you'd like.
Thank you.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'tekedu la'liyotzeh Bereshit, shelo asanim kigoyei haratzon, ve'lo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu which unfortunately might not be on your cards, I am not sure. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nemar v'chaya Adonai lamelech kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You can both close the ark for us. Thank you. Wonderful, thank you. I'm going to offer you a way too sweet Shabbos treat. Please. Please. I don't know what they are. Let's see. Let's see. The package tells us. Ooh, that sounds delicious. You may be seated. I don't think there's any bread product in that lollipop there. As our prayers draw to a close this evening, we turn our thoughts now to our loved ones who are no more. As a community, we think of two taken from us recently: Victoria Anita Ramsey Vestel and Morris Bonadonna. To their names, we add the names of those who passed away during the past year: Robert Feldman, Eileen Burton, Virginia Gordon, Bruce Dunham, Jim Bowman, R.B. Dickerson, Moni Mayer, Joanne Strickler, Richard Berenson Stone, John Wormser, Robert Eisenbach, Jerry Suppos, Donald Kim, Hannah Bine, Nathan Zuckerman, Bernie Flicker, Herman Van Oz, and Shirley Marvin. We also think of those who died at this season in years past and whose family members are observing the Yortzeit, the anniversary of death, on this Shabbat. Boyd Allison, Susan Bowman, Ralph Buchner, Rufus Craig, Janet Dunham, Elaine Garver, Karen Gibbs, Frank Holtzman, Judith Ham, Annette Hirsch, Harold Kaplan, Nathan Krupkin, Herman Moyes, Eve Novick, Marvin Pizer, Joseph Roheim, Elsa Rosenthal, Ray Rozalski, Simon Rubin, Nissen Scher, Newton Silva, Annie Tater, Harold Weissenberg. If there are others you are thinking of this evening, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. For the names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, together we turn to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 598, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach lirotev yamlich malchute, b'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemet kudasha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zikronam livracha, may all their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. You may be seated. Did we decide who was gonna? Julie, are you gonna come join for? You could both come up and alternate by word. Those would be some fun announcements. Representing our board of trustees, Julie's gonna share some announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us for tonight's services. Tomorrow there will be a Torah study in the social hall at 9:30 a.m., both in person and on Zoom. There will be a Shabbat minyan in the green room at 10 a.m., in person only. There will be services in the sanctuary at 10:30 a.m., both in person and on YouTube. And there will be a virtual Havdalah at 5:30 p.m., hosted by the Saxey family on Zoom. Hanukkah is right around the corner. We have lots of fun things happening to help us prepare to celebrate Hanukkah during the entire month of December. On December 4th at 11 a.m., we will have a music concert with visiting musician Judy Kaplan Ginsburg to end our Sunday school day, and all are invited. On Sunday, December 11th, the Sisterhood is hosting a candle making workshop and cookie decorating. On Friday, December 16th, we will have a pre-Hanukkah party. Musical services will begin at 6 p.m., and after services, we will enjoy fried food from a food truck and indulge in drinks and sweets. And on Sunday, December 18th at 10:30 a.m., all are invited to join our Sunday school students in a Hanukkah party with latkes, dreidels, photo booth, I bet that's supposed to be.
Did I spell boot? We're gonna have to figure out a photo booth.
Photo booth.
Yeah, it's a booth. Those
Okay.
things you take pictures and then
Okay.
put the picture in.
Photo booth and more. Shabbat Shalom and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. So lots of stuff coming up. Very excited about all the stuff we're going to do to get us into Hanukkah, which the first candle, just so you are aware, is the evening of December 18th. So that is our first candle and goes through for obviously 8 nights. Just note, all of this information was sent out to you, and I promise you we will inundate you with more information like we always do. But that service that we're having, our pre-Hanukkah party, the Friday right before Hanukkah starts, just note the earlier time. So we're going to start services at 6 so we can get to our fried food truck by 7. I'm very excited for our fried food truck, and the indulging in beverages will be both of the adult and not adult variety, whichever you like to indulge in. Are there any other announcements to share? Wonderful. Let us, before we do Kiddush and Motzi, we've been talking this evening about finding joy in Shabbat and finding those pause moments. If I can find the page of where I am trying to take us, let us remember how beautiful Shabbat is with the words of Ma Yafeh Hayom, which you might not even need the book for, but I will take you there, page 634. One line of Hebrew that we see at the very bottom of page 634, reminding us how lovely Shabbat is.
You don't want to do Debbie Friedman's Thanksgiving song?
You want?
No, do you know it?
I don't. I mean, I probably do. I don't think I know it well enough to, lead it.
Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray. Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving day? Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray. Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving day?
Please tell, first of all, that was amazing. Please tell me at your Thanksgiving table, you sing that. I mean,
I will be singing it Wednesday afternoon in your presence.
thank you. Can that get added to my shtick so I win for shtick since I've never carved a turkey in my life?
Well, we've got problems. Hilda's
So let me make sure everybody knows, because I didn't put it in the announcements. On Wednesday at 1:30, I will be going down to St. Vincent de Paul, and I will be ceremoniously carving a turkey.
Ceremoniously?
Is that what I said? That's not what I meant. I will actually. I mean, I might pretend. Cause, no, I'm really gonna do it. There's a knife, there's a turkey. I've been told I actually am carving a turkey. I will tell you, the amount of times I have carved a turkey in my life is 0. I've never carved a turkey in my entire life. But if you want to come and cheer me on, I will be wearing an apron that was created by the religious school students. I will be wearing a headband thing that has a turkey on it. So like, I'm gonna have fun, gonna have shtick, still contemplating putting a yarmulke on the turkey and saying something. I don't know. We will have tons of fun. Please come cheer me on. I've been told it's a contest. I need to win on my shtick because I'm not gonna win on my carving ability. What? A bris for a turkey. I did save my bottle of bris wine that was handed to me. We might. I'm not gonna. That's not fair. That's not fair. Not fair at all. We will continue this conversation. If you have ideas on how I should carve my first ever turkey in front of a whole bunch of people, I will say we participate because the majority of the turkeys served, 3,000 plus meals during the holiday season at St. Vincent de Paul, were donated by us. So we dropped off last Sunday, I think it was 188 turkeys. So we are really, 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 really helping the wider community here. So way to go us. It's amazing that we were able to do that. And let us still revel in how beautiful Shabbat is, and then we can continue the turkey conversation, and you can teach me the turkey song later. Very catchy, seems easy, but bottom of 634, little bit less upbeat, but a beautiful song to celebrate Shabbat. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I invite you to turn to page 123 where we find the words of our Shabbat Kiddush, and I invite you to please rise. And if you'd like to raise your imaginary Kiddush cup, I invite you to do so. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Let us also join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
how we were able to buy so many turkeys here?
Why?
We're Jews, a lot of them at discount. We don't pay retail.
I'm not sure that's a joke I'll use in the climate of the world we're in right now in public.
It might not be a good.
But I was contemplating telling the turkey it was its 8th day of life and putting a little kippah on it and shop it.
All right.
But I don't know.
I will find some
Okay,
tips.
you'll have to. Yeah.
Plan to start with a priest and a rabbi walk into a bar. We'll start with a bunch of those.
Yeah.
That would be good. I don't
I've
know.
done that before. Been the rabbi with the priest walking
Walking
into
into
a
a bar.
bar.
Nice.
Yeah,
Alright.
I always love to be the beginning of a joke. So yeah, we got to come up with some
All right.
good ones.
I'll tell you what. I will find some.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with you by Monday. With that.
Send me some stuff. Awesome.
All right. I think I get your email address, right?
If you don't, if you go to our website and put it on our face, one option.
That'll
Other
be-
option is really easy. It's just Rabbi Smiley.
Okay.
And then UJCBR.
Okay, great.
Unified Jewish Conference Center. Yeah.
I'll find it.
Okay.
All right.
Now you're gonna go on a Google search for appropriate rabbi jokes to use in public.
I might have to go to the library or a bookstore.
Not sure our public library is gonna have books on rabbi jokes that we would want to show in public. Good luck. I like your determination. Good luck.